Now, an NBC 25 Fox 66 breaking news alert.
Good morning, everybody. We're joining you with continuing coverage now of the breaking news that's been developing all morning long now. A deadly shooting, in fact, on Central Michigan University's campus. 2 people are confirmed dead. The university confirms they are not students at the university. And there is an active search happening right now for that shooter.
You take a look at this map here. It's happening at West Campus Drive and West Broomfield Street. West Broomfield Street, a very busy road that not only runs through campus, but all of Mount Pleasant. Our Sarah Yeager, she is live at the towers. Sarah, eerily quiet there on campus, but a very heavy law enforcement presence.
There is, Rochelle. Actually, we moved over to the University Center. They're going to be giving us a briefing here in about 10 minutes from police to update us on the latest on this investigation and the search for that shooter. But here is what we know at this time. Students were informed of the shooting at the residence hall just after 9 this morning. It appears to be a domestic situation. Two individuals have been confirmed dead. They are not students at the university, though. And it also appears there are no additional injuries at this time. Now, the shooting took place on the 4th floor of the Campbell Residence Hall. Today is the last day of classes before the students leave for spring break. So lots of individuals here, parents, family members, picking their students up. If you are still planning to come do that, they are advising individuals to go to the Comfort Inn on Mission. That's where they are going to be picking up individuals. Parents are allowed to pick up students still, but they want people to be aware the suspect is still at large. The investigation is continuing. FBI are here on scene, as well as Michigan State Police assisting Central Michigan in this ongoing investigation. They want students to still stay in their dorms on lockdown until police notify you otherwise. The individual they are looking for, James Eric Davis Jr. That is the person they have listed as a person of interest at this time. And we'll continue to keep you updated as we learn more. As we said, the police are about here to speak with us very shortly, and we will keep you updated with the latest. Right now, live in Mount Pleasant, Sarah Yeager, NBC 25 News.
All right, Sarah, thank you very much. And you heard her mention the suspect's name there, James Eric Davis Jr. We do have a more detailed description of him. 19 years old, black male wearing mustard-colored jeans. And we were told that when the shooting happened, he was also wearing a blue hoodie, though police say he may have taken that hoodie off. He is considered armed and dangerous at this point, still at large. And as I mentioned at the beginning, still a very active search going on at this moment for that individual. Ahmed?
Yeah, I've actually got several sources going on right there right now, both actually within the building that Sarah's in now and actually in several other buildings across campus. They're remaining under lockdown. And what the police are telling them within those buildings is that they don't want them to go anywhere because obviously this is the last day actually before spring break. This is the final day of classes and most of them end here within about half an hour or an hour or so after that. So a lot of parents and everybody would be coming to campus to pick everybody up. And obviously you can see here the massive, still a huge police presence there.
So this is at Maple and Oak. This is a little distance away from the towers. I've been seeing on social media, you cannot even count the number of MSP vehicles there. It also appeared as if SWAT was on scene. This investigation is spanning both on and off campus. And again, this is a look at Maple and Oak.
Absolutely. And in addition to MSP and Mount Pleasant Police, Central Michigan Police, we do understand the FBI has been on campus already, and that the ATF is sending resources as well. We're happy to have Dave Bondi in early to join us.
Headed home. A lot of people talking on social media. NBC News was also tweeting out the students in Parkland, Florida are commenting about this today. And obviously this is a domestic situation we're hearing, but it was still at a school. It's striking the hearts of everyone that this has happened on a school campus. Nonetheless, that, the 2 victims, not students, we don't know about the suspect at this time, but It just, as nationwide coverage networks are picking this up, it's
2 weeks apart.
2 weeks apart, very sad. And I'm going to continue to monitor social media, what is going on. And it's important to say that we are telling you what is confirmed information. There's a lot of information that goes out on social media, and you can trust what we're saying because we're only giving you the confirmed facts. As you know, social media, a lot of stuff goes on.
We've seen that
absolutely.
firsthand this morning. MSP confirmed 2 victims, as well as the university. People were saying other numbers on social media, and so
and
that's
speaking
very
of
important.
social media, guys, can we get the governor's tweet? Because he has used social media to put out a statement this morning, and you see it here on screen.
He says, I am in constant contact with Michigan State Police as they work with local law enforcement to determine what has occurred at Central Michigan University. The priority right now is the safety of those still on campus, and I thank all first responders involved for their swift action. Again, since that tweet, the governor learning 2 killed, not students, at the university.
Also this morning, we have spoken with the Assistant Director of Bands at CMU, and I'm sure this is someone that you are very familiar with, Professor James Batchelor.
Yep, former professor of mine there on campus. Got a chance to he was one of my first contacts there immediately as this started to unfold. We got a chance to speak with him actually earlier this morning. This is what he had to say.
What we've been told by campus police is that the shooter is still at large. And we're all to shelter in place and stay away from South Campus. There was a report of shots fired in Campbell Hall. That first report happened, it came sometime around 9 o'clock, I guess. We've had, we've heard other things. For example, some family members of our staff who were here have seen helicopters over Midtown Mount Pleasant as if searching for something, but
And that was Professor James Batchelor, again, Assistant Director of Bands at CMU, describing the situation as he was in lockdown after all of this happened this morning. Dave, you're tracking some of the things we're getting through our exclusive Banjo app this morning.
A lot of people posting to social media. We're going to show you some of the photos and videos right here. This was posted on Twitter, and you can see more police presence. This is looks like it's shot from either maybe a dorm room or some sort of building. And then here's another shot from the same room. You can look at here. This is a ground shot. This is from CM Life newspaper at Central Michigan University, and I'll read it for you. There have been reports of shots fired on the 4th floor of Campbell Hall. CMU PD urging students to stay clear of the area. I believe we have one other one we can show you right here. This is a video from one of our viewers, Zach Libby. It was posted on Twitter. You can see the helicopter, it leaves probably state police chopper that is in the air as they continue to look for the suspects. So the social media pictures and videos continue to come into our newsroom. But we want everyone, obviously, to be safe. Do not get in the way of law enforcement. When it comes to social media, the priority here is keeping everyone safe.
This has all been developing now for roughly the last 2.5 hours when this news first started breaking. And of course, shots fired at Campbell Hall. You are a CMU graduate. You actually lived in that dormitory complex.
Yeah, so we have confirmed 2 dead. Both were not students, but to give you a little perspective on that building, it is one of the largest on campus. It holds 7 different dorm rooms. This hall, Campbell Hall, was added on after the 4 original wings of that building. It's co-ed, it is primarily freshmen, and it is massive. So for the building that size to go on lockdown, a big concern, and that's a message that certainly spread across campus very, very quickly. As Ahmed mentioned earlier, this is the day that sends these students into spring break. So I imagine it was slightly quieter on campus today. Many students don't have Friday classes, so they head out on Thursday, but a massive building for that investment.
And it has more than just residence rooms as well, because we understand there's a fitness center there, there's a convenience store there.
There's a huge cafeteria. People from all across campus go to that cafeteria at the towers.
Wanted to break in real quick. We just got new information into our newsroom. The suspect in this case is a sophomore at Central Michigan University. So we have confirmed he is a sophomore at the university.
Which matches perfectly exactly with what that dorm is specifically designed for. As you mentioned, it's brand new. The original construction was for 4 main buildings, and 3 new ones were added, including Campbell, Kohlhavi, and Kessler. And each of those is designed very much like an apartment building. Each dorm room is actually a very large room. It's got 4 separate areas for each individual student. It really is designed for multiple people to live there in almost an apartment style. So it's many freshmen, it's not a ton of freshmen, but many freshmen mixed with sophomores within that building.
And again, that suspect's name, James Eric Davis Jr., we now have confirmed, 19 years old and a sophomore at Central Michigan University. We're going to take a break here. We'll come back on the other side with more coverage of the breaking news from Central Michigan. Stay with us.
Now, an NBC 25 Fox 66 breaking news alert.
11:42 on this Friday morning, and our coverage of the breaking news from Central Michigan University continues now. You are looking inside the room where we expect our first official briefing on what has happened there in just a few moments. Again, 2 people shot, 2 people killed, one and the same. And they are not students there at the university. We have confirmed that the suspect in this case is a sophomore who is a student, James Eric Davis Jr. We'll get more on that in just a moment. We want to send things out to our Courtney Wheaton, who is also covering this for us, and she is outside
This happened on campus, but we're also noticing an investigation of some sort off campus. That's where our Courtney Wheaton is live for us right now. Courtney, what do you see there on scene?
Guys, well, I'm about a mile north of campus, and if you just take a look in the last 45 minutes or so, all of these cars have just got here, police cars from different agencies. Now, I am with Aaron Owen. He is a graduate student here, and he's lived here for quite a while now. So tell me a little bit about, can you tell me this area and what you've been seeing?
Yeah, earlier, about 45 minutes or so, there was only just the one city cop down here at the end of the road, and since then, there's been an accumulation of state troopers, and then I believe SWAT over here. They would know better because they saw the SWAT, and then this helicopter circling. This is a new.
You guys can probably hear that helicopter. About how long has it been circling?
About, like I said, about half hour, 45 minutes. And there's a vacant. How long? I'm not exactly sure, but there's a vacant building back there. And this is all wooded area, and these are the train tracks that he was spotted heading along after the initial shooting. These train tracks go all the way to campus, right by the towers, basically.
Wow. So tell me a little bit about the people you saw. They were in Army fatigues. Yeah, what have you been seeing out here?
Yeah, just Army fatigues and dogs. If you go right through here, you can see them right there with the German Shepherd canine, and then...
Oh, I see the yellow tape as well.
Yeah. So this is something's up.
So just how does it make you feel, going to the school and just hearing all the news? What are you feeling right now, and what are the residents feeling?
First and foremost, I feel sad for the families of the affected in the shooting and all those kids in Campbell Hall. It's really emotional. It hasn't really sunk in yet. I mean, obviously I plan on going to campus later on here in the afternoon, but I won't probably be allowed to do so. So I'm probably just going to take off from Mount Pleasant and head down to Lansing, where I'm from, and hang out with friends and family. It hasn't sunk in yet, but this is pretty emotional. Central's never experienced anything like this that I can. And like you said, I did my undergrad here too, so I mean, I've always felt safe. I mean, I rarely even think of locking my door,
You talked about you not being able to be on campus. So have you got text messages from the school or anything telling you guys?
Yeah, Central initially, CMU puts out a phone, email, everything that they can do. You get a call, and they'll update about every hour or so to give you updates.
And what's the last update you got? What did they say?
Is that the shooting still remains the same, that there was a shooting at Campbell Hall, and the suspect remains at large.
Wow.
And that was about like 40 minutes ago or so.
Again, 2 people confirmed dead. That's all the information we have right now. But as soon as I get more information, I'll bring it to you guys. One more look at the scene. Again, you can hear that helicopter circling as we're speaking. And there are plenty of cops here from all different agencies. You can see Michigan State Police here. And as soon as I have more information, I'll bring it back to you guys. Mike?
All right, Courtney, thank you for that live update. Dave, we've got some additional things coming in, some tweets from folks in Florida.
Yeah, I mentioned this a little while ago. If we can put it up on the screen, some of the survivors of the Parkland shooting in Florida just several weeks ago, and I'm going to read them for you. Central Michigan University, as a Parkland student, I'm here for you. I'm so sorry all of you are going through this. Parkland is with you. And I'm not sure if we have any more tweets. Yeah, here we go. Parkland, Dalton, and Central Michigan University are visual representations of why guns are a problem. That's referring to, there was a shooting a few days ago where a teacher was arrested for having a gun in a classroom. Another one right here. People will defend their case by saying it's the person, not the gun. But if they didn't have access to a gun, this wouldn't happen. And obviously, the Parkland students have been very vocal about guns and making this, they're not afraid to speak out and make this a political issue. But right now, obviously, the prayers and thoughts go out to everyone in Mount Pleasant.
Absolutely.
Certainly, just 2 weeks apart.
And we are, of course, waiting for an official briefing now. And here's the room where that will take place. We're getting some additional information about who we will hear from.
I have a very close friend who I graduated from Central Michigan University with, and she is in that room waiting for this press conference to start. She says she's been told it will be the communications department, the vice president of student affairs, and that they are waiting for MSP to arrive, for some troopers to be able to join this room here and to give the media and all these families an update. This we started getting word of around 9, so we're going on 3 hours here. And aside from the information directly on the university's website, this will be the first time we've had that direct line of communication with school officials.
Our first official briefing on what has happened here. What we do know through our various sources and resources that are out there is that 2 people have been shot and killed, and they are not students, but the suspect is a student, a sophomore, and the suspect they're looking for, James Eric Davis Jr. We'll take another break here and then go back to Central Michigan for that briefing in just a moment. And our coverage of the breaking news at Central Michigan University continues now. We've got some shots from the sky, and you see all of the police presence there. And that looks like your dorm complex.
At the building right there.
That where we just saw the trooper vehicles, I believe, is West Campus Drive. It runs right along the Towers building. Also, helicopters there on scene, presumably still searching for this suspect. At last word, he was at large, considered armed and dangerous.
That's the Michigan State Police chopper. I actually did a story riding on one of those. They have very high-tech technology on their thermal imaging, if they would need it, and anything, so they can see anything from the air. In the chopper.
And in this picture coming up here in just a second, you should see train tracks on the left-hand side of the screen coming in here, as long as it keeps going to the left. Just off to the left of the camera picture there, those train tracks, if you go a mile north on them from that dorm, literally along those tracks, is where we actually just spoke to our reporter, Courtney Wheaton. So that is a direct shot up to where there is a very large police presence. That's the line right there. You can see the train tracks within that view. A very straight shot right from that complex, the biggest dorm complex on campus. 7 large dorm buildings with that central hub.
We're very fortunate to get these aerial shots through our Detroit affiliate, WDIV's chopper this morning. And again, we are waiting for an official briefing from university officials and Michigan State Police, hopefully to get the very latest information on what they know about this situation. 2 people dead this morning there at Campbell Hall.
And it is a significant day for this to happen simply because this is the last day before spring break. You know, a lot of these college students heading out of city, potentially out of state. We can see a live look now as this press conference is getting ready. I'm told by one of my very close friends who's in that room waiting for the briefing that this will be a mix of both campus officials and Michigan State Police.
And speaking of campus officials, I got new information. They've been asking parents or anybody going to pick up students there at CMU, because this is the last day before break. So everybody is leaving campus today to go to the Comfort Inn there at 2424 South Mission. They have not just university officials there to try and get everybody organized, but they have now allowed, because the university remains on lockdown, but they have allowed people from the support department there to go on over to the Comfort Inn to provide some counseling support. So the counseling center has been allowed to be evacuated out now. They are no longer in lockdown. They are all now staging at that Comfort Inn to provide support for these families that are obviously quite worried about their students that are still there on campus.
Absolutely. That's a very large space there. It's also not far from the football stadium.
Yeah, we just have some new information just literally handed to me right now. According to students, there have been gunshots heard at University Meadows. University Meadows, are you
The
familiar with that
on-campus
area? That apparently
apartments?
gunshots have been heard at University Meadows. This just in seconds ago.
Yeah, University Meadows, I believe, is one of the apartment complexes,
That's
both
on campus.
yeah, right on campus, just to the north and west of that specific site, because campus actually expands a little further past where the buildings are
that's
into
on
the
campus.
neighborhood. Yes, it's technically considered
believe
on
it's
campus, but
both.
within that neighborhood there.
So not too far from where this incident
No,
happened
it
this
is
morning.
it is easily within half a mile from that specific spot.
And we don't know law enforcement all we know is gunshots were heard at University Meadows. We haven't been told, was it police, was it suspects? No information right now, and hopefully they'll answer that during this news conference.
Let's check in right now with Courtney Wheaton again, who is there in Mount Pleasant for us this morning. Courtney, what new information do you have?
Well, guys, I just moved so you guys could get a better look at the scene. Take a look right behind me. You can see 2 Michigan State police officers are over there, as well as the SWAT team vehicle has just moved. Now, I am here with a student, a senior here, Haley. So, Haley, tell me a little bit about what you saw this morning when you woke up.
Well, I woke up to a call from Central, and I was alarmed by that, but after getting the phone call, that's when I started seeing all the helicopters everywhere, and the cop cars circling, and I had to come out this way to come get my car, and that's where everything's going on. It's extremely overwhelming to see all of this.
Is this shocking at CMU just because it's Mount Pleasant, quiet place?
It's unfathomable that this is even happening. It's such a small town. These are things that you see and hear on the news and never think it's going to happen to you or where you're from, and just trying to imagine everything that's going on right now is just unbelievable.
2 people have lost their lives. Just what does that mean to you? Just how do you feel? What are you thinking?
It makes me sick to my stomach thinking about that. In a dormitory this morning, 2 people lost their lives, 2 people are dead in there. I can only imagine how those students who are living in the dorms must feel. I'm off campus, thankfully, but I was even pretty shook up by the news, so I just can't.
So what do you have planned for the rest of the day? What now? They're telling you to stay off of campus.
Yeah, I was planning on going home for spring break today, but I had to drop some stuff on campus today for my major. I had to drop off some applications. I can't do that now, so I don't know what my plans are. I don't know if I should go home or if I should stay with my friends, so I don't know.
The crazy thing is a lot of people have already fled and left for spring break.
Yeah.
So what are you seeing? You said spring break. Is that affecting anything right now?
Yeah, not many people are here because of spring break, but I mean, there's still a decent amount of people here, I would say. But I mean, I know my friends are supposed to go on a trip tomorrow, or some were even supposed to leave today, but I mean, it's still a Friday. Not everybody has Friday classes, but we still had stuff to do in class. I was going to go to the library and just have a normal day today. That's not happening.
No. And talk about a little bit about the police presence. We're surrounded by cop cars.
Yeah. I feel like this is something you see in a movie. I've never seen a SWAT car. I've never seen this many state police cars, undercover cars. FBI is going to homes looking for him. I feel like I'm in an action film right now. I actually can't believe I'm still standing here.
Thank you so much, Haley. And if you guys just take a look over here, there are a lot of people watching right now, just trying to figure out what's going on. And then if you take a look over here, so many police vehicles, as I said, Michigan State Police, Mount Pleasant over there. As soon as I get more information, I'll bring it to you guys. Again, there was a SWAT car right over there. It just moved, and you can keep on hearing that helicopter just circling, still searching for the suspect. Guys?
All right, Courtney, thank you.
Yeah, I just want to update everyone what we heard minutes ago, that students are reporting gunshots have been heard at University Meadows, and where exactly you were saying, Amin and Rochelle, University Meadows, very near where this morning's incident took place.
Very close to that spot. Also, right by where Courtney is there, one of my sources directly inside that complex there and was told by police specifically to stay inside. That is one of the main spots they are currently searching for.
And this is a live look right here from a news helicopter, and you're taking a look. State police have the area blocked off, police everywhere. This is the building that the incident happened at, and you were talking about. It's a building, and Rochelle, if you can explain again, it's not just one central building. It's divided into several wings, I guess you could say.
It's the largest building in terms of residence halls on campus. We're going out here, so you're getting a great perspective right now for what we're talking about. There are 4 main buildings that come off all pointed away from each other.
They form
Those are
sort of the X in the middle.
That is perfect, yes. And those halls are Carey, Cobb, Wheeler, and Troutman. They're primarily freshman buildings. Those ones that you see going horizontally between each peg of the X, those were added years later. Those halls are Campbell, Kessler, and Kohlhaby. Campbell is the one that we have such a huge focus on this morning, where we have confirmed 2 people were killed there, not students of the university. So predominantly a freshman building there, but this particular building is upperclassmen. Not only, though, do so many students live there, it also is the largest cafeteria on campus, so people come from all over for that. There's a big workout facility. It's a main hub of Central Michigan University.
And right before break, like today is literally the last day on campus. You have to empty campus for an extended break like this, so all the students that live in dorms will leave.
All right, we're going to go back now to that briefing that is coming. Let's listen in right now.
Okay, so I don't know that this is working.
Mic check.
Test. There you go. You're good.
Get your phones all off.
Yep.
All right, we are waiting for this news briefing to begin. It looks like we are just moments away from that happening. They are still testing microphones and getting into position there, but we do expect to hear now from university officials, also from MSP and other law enforcement involved in this situation.
Thank you all for coming this morning. We're here to brief you on the situation that happened at approximately 8:30 this morning. I'm Sherry Knight, Associate Vice President of University Communications. We'll have the Lieutenant Klaus brief you on the police update, but I want to make sure that you know that the university responded quickly. We had the campus on lockdown. No students, faculty, or staff have been injured. And we are continuing with that with people on lockdown across campus. I want to let you know that we have multiple agencies who are active and involved in this, and we are processing that as we go forward. I'm going to turn it over to Detective or Lieutenant Klaus, and he will update you on the police status at this point and what we know.
And if you could give us your full names.
Thank you, Sherry. It's Lieutenant Larry Klaus with the Central Michigan University Police Department. Here to report that our agency is confirming that a tragic event took place on our campus here this morning. And then we are confirming that 2 individuals have been fatally injured, and the incident took place in Campbell Hall, which is part of our Towers complex. As Sherry Knight said, at this point, none of our students, faculty, or staff have been injured. They are sheltering in place at this current time, and at this point, our campus is safe. We believe this situation involves a domestic type incident. The person of interest that we are looking for actively at this point is a James Eric Davis. He's a black male, approximately 19 years of age, weighing about 135 pounds. A photograph will be released shortly of Mr. Davis, and we're asking that our community members call us. Call 911 if you see this individual, and he should be considered armed and dangerous if you encounter Mr. Davis. For those planning to come to campus to pick up their students for spring break, we would ask that you please stay off campus. Our campus is actively locked down and our students are sheltering in place. If you need a location to go to the Comfort Inn at 2424 South Mission Street, and there will be staff there to help support you and your families. At the current time, this is still an active event. Police agencies are actively trying to locate the individual. He was last seen shortly after the shooting running in a northbound direction from our Towers complex. At that time, he was wearing a dark hoodie. It is unknown what clothing he may be wearing now, because we have located a number of articles of clothing along the railroad grade. We have tactical teams from the Mount Pleasant region, comprised of the Central Michigan University Police, Mount Pleasant Police, the Sheriff's Office, that are actively looking for this individual. We also have assets from the Michigan State Police that are assisting with officers, air support, and with tactical members. We have assets from the FBI and our other federal partners. I will now turn it over to Officer Jeff Brown from the City of Mount Pleasant.
My name is Jeff Brown, Public Information Officer with the Mount Pleasant Police Department, and we're asking for the community's help in this part. We believe the subject is in the city limits now, and so we need the community's help in locating him. And by that, with the picture that we're going to release, we're asking that you do not approach this individual. We're not asking you to go out and look for the individual. What we're asking is if you see this individual, we want you to contact 911 immediately and let our teams do what we do and apprehend that individual. The important thing is to know that our community is safe. We're going to ask that everybody stay inside at this time. And again, if you come across this individual, to call 911 immediately.
Questions?
Any questions that you may have?
You guys call this believe it to be a domestic issue. There's one report at least that this suspect was released from the hospital at 8 this morning, and then the shooting happened a short time later. Did this guy come back to try to finish something that started either last night or early this morning?
Here's what I can confirm at this point. It's a little early in our investigation. The CMU Police Department did have contact with the involved individual last evening. At some point in the evening, he was transported to McLaren Hospital due to what the officers believed may be a drug-related type incident, an overdose or a bad reaction to drugs. At that point, he was released to the hospital staff. We're calling it a family-type domestic issue at this point, and that's all we're releasing at this time.
We're also hearing.
Can you confirm the two dead ones' parents?
I cannot confirm the deceased at this point. What I can confirm that it did not involve faculty, staff, or our students.
There's a report out that he killed his parents.
I cannot confirm that at this time.
What is the policy for guns on campus?
We have a gun-free policy on our campus, and weapons are not permitted on the CMU campus per our policy.
What were the weapons you used?
We cannot disclose that at this point. It's early in the investigation.
Do you have more than one weapon?
Not that I'm aware of it, not at this point.
Just one gun then?
I have no idea how many weapons are involved. At this point, what I can tell you is that if you do encounter Mr. Davis, that you should consider him to be armed and dangerous.
Did the students in the residence hall call 911?
We've got calls from Campbell Hall of shots fired, and university officers and City of Mount Pleasant officers responded to that location.
Can you tell us more about Davis, how long he's been a student here?
I can't provide any further information regarding the student at this time.
Were the victims found in Campbell Hall?
The victims were found in the residence hall, correct.
Did he live in that residence hall?
I can't disclose that at this point because I'd have to get confirmation on that prior.
You call them a suspect and person of interest. Which one is it? Is it suspect? Should we call him a suspect?
It would be suspect.
Your officers came into contact with him last evening. Have there been any other previous incidents before last night?
The investigation's early, but not that I'm aware of.
Is there a reason why you haven't been able to release the relationship with with the suspect and victims?
Well, one, it's early in our investigation. We've got the Michigan State Crime Lab here processing that scene, and we have to do notification of next of kin before we can release any names that are involved in this matter.
You said the campus is a gun-free zone, so how do you enforce that? Are there metal detectors on campus?
There's not metal detectors. Most of our buildings have access control, where you have to have an identification to get into our buildings. The towers have access control. We do not have metal detectors, but it is our policy that the students, staff, faculty cannot have weapons on our campus.
Do we know at all how the suspect obtained a weapon at this time? Or?
I have no information on that.
What type of weapon was used, and was there reason to believe last night when police had contact with him that this was a potentially violent suspect?
I cannot disclose what type of weapon was used at this point, and I have no information that would lead us to believe that this would have taken place here today.
This shooting happened on the 4th floor, so how was he able to escape? Did he fly down the stairs? I mean, any information on how he got away?
Can you confirm that?
I can't confirm the floor, but the last thing I can confirm, we had cameras that saw him exiting the north side of the Towers complex and running on the railroad grade.
And we were hearing from some people on campus too saying that they believe that the suspect was seen downtown Mount Pleasant. Do you know if that's true at this point?
I'll turn that over to Officer Brown from the City of Mount Pleasant.
We've had a number of tips of where this individual might be. So far, we have not located him. However, we're following up on every tip that comes through. We've been checking individuals to check their identity as they come in.
Is there any previous background about this guy, maybe criminal background whatsoever?
Not that we're aware of at this point. And like I said, it's early in the investigation. Later in the day, I'm sure we'll have more information that we can share with you and update you on this in the investigation.
Do you have surveillance cameras on campus near the residence hall that he may have been seen on?
The vast majority of our campus does have surveillance type cameras that we can see, and the Towers complex does have cameras in that location. Now, they're not in the students' rooms or in the hallways. They're at the exits and entrances and common areas within those structures.
Were there any direct witnesses to the shooting?
At this point, it's early in the investigation. We're going to have to disclose more of this type of information later in the day when we have more information from our investigators on scene.
Regarding students in dorms, how long will they be on lockdown for? Students who are on campus, students who might need their parents to come pick them up and such?
At this point, we're still in a lockdown status where we're sheltering in place. The university will provide additional information throughout the course of the day when that status may change. We are asking that our students stay sheltered in place at this point in time. And we ask that parents do not come to the university looking for their students. They can report to the Comfort Inn, and we can make arrangements at that point. We will update you as soon as we have more information regarding the status of the lockdown and shelter in place.
Was this student in any
All right.
trouble with the university?
So what you need to know at this point is that the university is taking all precautions. Number one priority right now is safety. Safety of our students, of our faculty, and of our staff. We still have people sheltering in place. We will be updating you as we have more information. At this point, everything we have that we can share, we have released with you. We will update you as the day goes on and as we have additional information. Thank you.
Can you tell us anything about him as a student?
We can't, not at this
Do
point.
you believe he's targeting anybody else specifically?
No.
All right, you've been listening to our first briefing from university and officials and law enforcement about the shooting that happened in Central Michigan this morning. You heard from Sherry Knight with University Communications, Lieutenant Larry Klaus with CMU Police, and Jeff Brown with Mount Pleasant Police Department. Officially, the campus still in a lockdown situation right now. Officially, the suspect still at large. We expect to get a photo of him that we should be able to share with you shortly.
Yeah, just want to update. We're getting information from our photographers. The FBI, along with SWAT team, they are going door to door, not only on campus, but we have some video in of Mount Pleasant area surrounding the campus. So they literally are doing everything they can to search for this guy. And the second we get that photo, we will blast it out on our social media accounts right now. The police said they would be giving that out shortly.
New information that we also just learned is that they say they did catch a suspect on camera, that there are obviously not cameras within the dorm rooms or even in the hallways, but in the public areas, the lobbies, the exits, entrances. And so police there saying that they have this suspect who they're looking for on camera running out of the building and heading north from the towers. The significance about heading north is that there are train tracks that go right along that massive dorm building, and it is a straight shot into more of the residential area surrounding campus.
And that was what they had mentioned, which is extremely important, is that they had found clothes along those train tracks. And that is an extremely important piece of information, because if you go straight along those train tracks, nearby where we have our reporter Courtney Wheaton at, actually, is that there are 3 very large forested parks directly next to those tracks that it goes right into the middle of, right by where that heavy police presence is at. Chippewater's Park, Mill Pond Park, you have Island Park, and actually Riverside Cemetery. 3 or 4 very large forested and very difficult to search through areas directly connected to that northbound path they have confirmed he took.
I want to get in really quick. The new information we're learning is that he had contact with law enforcement last night.
Yep. We heard that, and that he had actually been taken to the hospital, released to hospital staff. So at some point he was released from the hospital before all of this happened. Let's go back to the campus now. Sarah Yeager was at the briefing. Sarah, take it away. What can you tell us?
Well, as you guys heard, the police just wrapping up their press conference here for us, telling us a little bit more information about the suspect, Eric Davis. He's 19. He is a student here. They wouldn't say, though, if he actually did live in the dorm. They did say the 2 individuals that were found deceased early this morning were found in that dorm. Now, the suspect actually was alerted, or police were alerted to the suspect already last night. Central Michigan University police were involved with him. They believed he was suffering from some type of a drug incident, so he was taken to McLaren Hospital. He was released to their care and then released this morning. Now, shortly after 8:30 is when students here tell us or I should say 9 o'clock, I'm sorry, is when students tell us they got the first alerts on their phone via the campus alert system that a shooting had taken place. They remain right now under lockdown in their respective dorms, buildings on campus, wherever they were at this morning. They are still asked not to leave. Even though they have been tracking the suspect north out of campus, they are still taking every precaution to make sure students, staff, faculty are safe. Police here want to reiterate that they are students here are safe. They are still under lockdown, and they will remain that way until notified otherwise. Now, any parents that were coming to pick their students up, being this is the last day of classes before spring break, are asked to go to the Comfort Inn on Mission. That's where they're having a staging area, as they call it, and that is where that you can go pick up your student, hopefully once they are released from this lockdown. Right now, live in Mount Pleasant, Sarah Yeager reporting.
Okay, Sarah, thank you very much. We also learned during that news briefing that police cannot disclose what type of weapon was involved here at this point, and that they had no indication when they encountered this person last night that something like this would happen this morning.
They did say they believe it was a domestic incident that led up to this shooting, and that they're confident that he is within city limits. So some new details coming out of that press conference, certainly many leads to follow.
Police also indicated that they do not at this point have any indications that this person has a prior criminal history as well. So again, there are still many unanswered questions surrounding this entire situation.
Just wanted to update real quick. Local school districts were going on lockdown. The Midland Public Schools just tweeted out that they are not on lockdown anymore. They say because it was a domestic situation, and they feel the situation is safe for Midland. Obviously a distance away, but the Midland Public Schools now are no longer on lockdown.
Getting some additional information.
Yeah, literally, just now. According to WDIV, our NBC affiliate in Detroit, clothing has been found strewn near the railroad tracks that Ahmed, you've been talking about, near Northwest Apartments. Tribal and city police are on the scene. And if we can ask you again, Ahmed and Rochelle, that is right leading from that apartment area.
Those tracks run right along the towers, and they go quite a distance. It's a straight shot.
So that would seem where he may have been running and throwing clothing or items.
Yeah, I mean, you go north along those tracks, you get to those 3 big parks, and that apartment complex is right next to those large forested areas there, and that's going to make it extremely difficult. But that's why they're asking the public not to approach, but to keep their eyes out, because this is going to be a search now.
we're going to have that picture as soon as we get it. We're going to put it up on our social media and on our website and share that out because everyone needs to find this guy. Do not approach them, though. This is a very dangerous situation.
Absolutely considered armed and dangerous. We will continue to track all developments for you. Stay with NBC25news.com and WSMH.com for the latest information. And of course, Dave and the evening team, along with Bill Harris as well, will have the very latest information for you coming up tonight on the news at 6, 10, and 11.
We'll return now to our regular programming.